hate puppies. It's a good podcast.
I feel threatened. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Pallet House. This time from far outside of the Pallet House here in the Nectar Sunglasses warehouse. Excited to be here. I know, Sean, we have talked about this for a long time, and now it's finally happened.
Right. It's been how many years? 2 years since you came to Folly Beach, did a session.
Unfortunately, yeah, it was like 4 years ago, and that one went off the rails quickly. So that I think that holds the record for fastest off the rails podcast.
Right.
It's under 5 minutes. If we can get to 6 before anything untowards comes out of my mouth, that would be a win.
That's a win,
to say the
no,
least.
it's glad to have you here. We've talked about doing the Nectar Warehouse. We do music sessions here, so it's nice to do first ever podcast in the warehouse. So,
yeah, I'm glad to be part of it. And you've assembled like the brain trust here. We got the crew in the house, and I'm pretty excited about it. We have Keith Wellman over here right next to Sean. I never had you on the podcast. Excited to have you here. How are you?
First time. Long time listener.
First time, long time. One of those. I get that. And then we got Liam from Apis Mercantile, and I'm dying to hear about some of your products. Welcome, man. I'm glad to have you.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. And then we've got Chris Kemp, who I didn't know this, but you're like one of my favorite artists, and now I get to talk to you. So this is pretty exciting. Welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Glad to have you here. Like, I wasn't kidding. I found out that I'm a big fan of your art. Kind of like a fanboy. Like, so I'm kind of psyched about this moment.
How did this happen?
So it started.
It's gonna get weird.
No, it started years ago. So I bought what I thought was the coolest Nectar shirt that they had.
Oh, the bike shirt.
Told you.
But it actually turned out the mountains with the waves and everything. Do you know?
Yeah.
It was the
So-
full sweet life.
Turned into the backdrop.
Right.
So I ended up buying that, and I was like, I love this painting. Like, this thing is sweet.
Yeah.
Then I saw the surfboard shirt, and I was like, well, that's ridiculous. Then I went out, I bought my favorite Burt's Market shirt. And then it turns out, I'm like, wait a minute. Like, what is going on here? And I'm like, this Kemp dude's everywhere.
Saturating.
That's okay. And now I'm just finding out that you are affiliated with Revelry Brewery, which fits right into my wheelhouse. I mean, we are certainly checking all my boxes. So I'm pretty excited about that. So glad to have you here. So
Glad you don't hate it.
No, I do not. No, I do not. So actually, I want to ask you, has anyone ever said that, like, some of that, because some of those things that I bought, in particular the Burt shirt and like the surfboard shirt, they kind of remind me of Shel Silverstein. Is that
Huge influence. Yeah.
okay?
Grew
So
up
I'm
with
not crazy.
Shel
All right.
Silverstein.
I was
Wow.
like, he's either going to walk away at this moment. He's like, that dude writes fucking kids' books, man. Like,
Yeah.
but it's immediately like what I thought when I saw that, and I was in love. So
Awesome.
Good
Glad
call.
you're digging, man.
yeah, I mean, do you feel it? Do you know what I'm talking about, Liam?
Huge
Like,
fan of Shel Silverstein and a huge fan of Chris Kemp.
exactly. And so when you see it, you get that Shel Silverstein vibe. Like, he's giving tree and where the sidewalk ends and all of that.
Try to appeal to everybody, but still keep it a little edgy.
Well, Sean has helped us fill his brother's role. Sean's brother tends to disconnect the equipment, and he just did so. We're back. Did you
We're
just
live.
save us over there? Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent work.
Teamwork.
We got a full house here, so everyone's helping out. That's awesome. So now we got to redo the whole thing. No, I'm
Yeah,
just
let's
kidding.
restart.
Sean, you got all them Fearless 45 muscles.
Right.
It's throwing you for a loop.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. I'm excited that we have Keith here because for people that listen, there's a guy on this show, Ely, and he's the guy who doesn't like the beer, hence the Deli Award, because does Ely like it? It is a lot harder than you would think to get this guy to like a beer, in particular if it has hops in it, which is a staple in beer. He's like, this is trash. Like, I can't drink this. And I'm like, they put that in all beers, right? Like, that's really interesting.
What's his favorite beer?
Currently, he's drinking Natter Days.
Natter Days.
Yeah. So they got that whole.
Is that a sour?
No, it's just bad.
It's my favorite day of the week.
Natter Day? Well, Saturday. Saturday's for the boys, right? I'll give you that, but the beer itself is I'm a little concerned about this. He sent something out the other day. He's like, I'm on record. This is the best beer ever. And I was like, ooh, that's a little tough. So, but Ely's hard to get to like anything with hops. So we always created the Does Ely Like It is the Deli Award. And if a beer can win that, it's done something really, really well. So in order to get a Deli Award, you rate it 5 stars. And if it gets 4 or above from him, then it gets the seal of approval. But it's interesting because Keith, I know from back in the Marines with Ely. So you go back a ways.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were both stationed in Virginia. He was in the reserves.
There you go.
Yeah, I remember the day he came in. Yeah.
You want to get close to that mic? I'm afraid there it is.
There it is.
Perfect.
There it is.
Yeah, because he came back, and then I remember he was talking about you and our other buddy John, who you all know, and then you would convince them to come down to Atlanta, Sean and John, to kind of work on learning internet marketing on the whole.
Well, I don't know if I convinced them as much as they convinced me.
That this was going to be a good idea?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So what were you doing then? Because you were working on with internet marketing was kind of your.
Yeah, I was building a business. Had a team of people. We did a lot of different things. So we worked on. Basically, our goal was improving, like optimizing websites to improve sales.
Okay.
And I got really good at that. So I was speaking all over the world. We had clients from everywhere. Like it was growing really fast. I didn't know what I was doing, but I thought I did.
Well, you were doing something right.
I was doing something right.
I saw your house.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were doing something right.
Well, you know what you learn as an entrepreneur is you can really fuck a lot of things up and still be pretty successful, you know, if you just go for it.
That is the funniest thing I've noticed is that if you just keep moving forward, eventually you'll move forward.
Yeah.
People don't recognize that. They get all disgruntled. They're like, man, I fucked that up. I'm going to stay in bed today. Well, you've lost.
Yeah. Well,
you stayed in bed.
I often say, like, failure is, like, I love failure. You're like, the more you can fail, the quicker you can learn, you know?
Yeah.
But at that time, you know, the first time I met Sean, I saw like an entrepreneur, you know? Like my buddy John, he was in the military too. He's like my best friend.
Yep.
Yeah, you know John. And he's not like he's more analytical.
Absolutely.
Know, like a lot of people don't want the entrepreneur life. It's a lot of uncertainty, you know. But Sean, like right away, like he's an entrepreneur. But they were like, you got to teach us this stuff. Like we're gonna move to Atlanta. I don't remember like your perspective, Sean, but like that was my perspective. Like, oh, we'd love to learn, and I was like, well, like I'm really busy. And
I don't like you guys that much. Like, it seems like a lot of work.
But really, what was going through my mind is like, I didn't want to like influence them in that way. You know, like I didn't want to lead them in the wrong direction.
Okay.
Like I knew it was what I was doing was working well for me, and I knew I could teach them what I was doing, but there was no guarantees that was going to do anything for them.
Yeah, and do you remember we were outside and had a conversation with him, asking him, like, you know, we came down here this weekend, partied, had a good time, and I asked him, I really want to work with you, an intern or whatever it takes. And Keith told me, you know, this isn't the best time for me right now, and like really just shot me down. And I was
it's not you, it's me. Kind of thing.
Typical relationship thing. And
it really was kind of like not the greatest time for me.
No, I imagine me just it's like I can't imagine some.
Like I stand by it. It was horrible timing. Still don't know why you showed up.
But it was an overwhelming feeling for me. I felt like I had to do this. I remember the moment at Baja in Richmond.
I remember you saying that. You were like, I'm going to go for it.
I got to do this. And I didn't ask him all weekend because I didn't have that opportunity. And then once I did, it was just him and I threw it out there and got shot down hard. And John and I were driving through downtown, not even, you were on 75, coming through the city. And I was like, man, he said no. I thought this was it. Like, this is my calling. And he was like,
did I actually say no though? Because I don't remember.
You
saying
said not this time.
Not strongly enough. Look at us now.
Yeah, it was a no.
I think it was more like
timing.
Let's wait a month or two. Like
I blacked out, so no. I think
woke up in Keith's house.
You remember what is the glow balls golf?
The glow in the dark. Yeah. almost died. No, they drove a cart into a ditch.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're driving through, and I tell B.
let's just gloss over that story.
It was dark. You couldn't see the sand traps. But no, I told Beal, and he basically said, like, I've always wanted to work with Keith. I didn't want to ride his coattails, and I told him, why don't you ask him? Like, I'm ready to move if you are.
Yeah.
So we called him, middle of the city, driving out of Atlanta, and Keith's like, man, I would do anything for you. They were Marines together. They're connected. And so basically Keith was like, man, if you guys want to move down, I'll teach you everything I know. So we were both amped driving back to Richmond. And basically, as soon as we got back, we just planned our exit, and we thought we were moving to Atlanta, but Keith lived in McDonough, Georgia, which is about 20 minutes south.
McDonough.
I know.
Sounds nice.
But that was kind of how it all came together, and we basically
well, and that's
dropped
where you
out
learned the whole kind of the internet marketing side of things, like how to get in front of people.
Right. I mean, we came down and had like a week of just like he was feeding books to us, and he was like, you guys got to start something. I can't just teach you business without experience. So that's what led into the.
This is what I wanted to get at. So before there was Nectar Sunglasses, you needed something that you could try out all of the new things that you were learning. The first product launch to see what you could do with it.
Right.
And so you ended up releasing a workout video.
Yeah.
The Fearless 45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
What is the Fearless?
Yeah.
Right.
The Fearless 45 is
I'm going to say it was a badass workout.
Thank you, Keith.
It was badass.
I actually completely agree.
So,
but
Sean, so we came up with this. So
Keith got animated, like he's fired up. He's
yeah,
like,
yeah. All right,
No, it was an
you
interval
struck your chord.
training.
You woke me up.
Really fast.
I'm here.
It was high intensity training.
It was
HIIT, if you know what that means.
HIIT is that right?
That's-
High
that's the
intensity
one.
interval training. Yeah.
Right.
So Sean, my thing was we've got to figure out where your value is. If you're going to sell something, somebody's going to give you money, you got to give them value. And what we identified was that all three of us had backgrounds in fitness in some way. John, myself, military.
Yep.
Him and
baseball.
baseball.
Yep.
Absolutely. So we all had a pretty good knowledge base around.
So you had a
fitness.
hook. You had a hook.
Right.
We had something.
I had a personal trainer for 4 years and tons of workout stuff. And at that time, John and I were running a bunch and just into that. It wasn't a passion, but we were like, fuck, we know how to do this. Like, P90X was like popping off at that point. So we thought, no one has a fucking hour or 90 minutes a day. Like, let's do a really fast one and see if we can make it work.
Your workouts were like 20 minutes?
21 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, well, 20 for me. I'm not a big stretcher.
What year was this? Was this before
This was-
Instagram?
You can't skip the stretching, man.
This was,
what year
this
was
was
this?
before Instagram, I
It's
believe.
before Instagram, right when it was 2010, 11.
The funniest thing
probably
about
2010.
marketing and sales is that it's all changed every other couple of years due to how
It has.
rapidly everything's changed. I was a marketing major, but I graduated.
Yeah, that was.
I don't apply anything that I learned in college. I mean, maybe a mindset, but everything's.
Well, and I
kinda
think
changed.
that was exactly what Sean was doing, was taking an opportunity to learn from Keith what they aren't teaching in school, because the industry was changing in that moment. Facebook was coming to be. People were on forums. People were talking differently. Everything was different.
So were you selling DVDs?
No,
or
we
was it
sold a digital version of it where you played at your house whenever you wanted to. This was early Facebook too, when it was just free range. Organic was huge. I don't know. We had a lot of ideas that it kind of started falling apart because we just didn't have the time or money, the knowledge. It was just we had to fail pretty badly to learn a lot of stuff, and ultimately that's what.
Did it fail? I never got that. That scoop.
Yeah. It definitely
It did.
And you can't really, like, if you're going to get into the fitness industry, you got to have really good connections,
And you got to be fit.
and you got to be really fit. You
is a
do.
big
You got to be really fit. You got to have a lot of money, and you got to have a lot of skill. Because it's just a tough industry. It's like one of the most difficult industries to get into.
That's why I went into eyewear.
Did it upset? Yeah, no one else was doing it.
Yeah.
Did it upset you when it failed, or were you cool with that? Like, was it
No,
always
was a
supposed
weird-
to just be a launching point, or?
I mean, I went in with the mentality that when I left at Richmond, I had like a going away party, and I was like, I'm going to go fucking crush this. Because
Yeah.
Keith had, from what I learned, his launches were $800,000 million launches, and he was kind of saying like, hey, if we build up an affiliate list and we do this the right way, we can make a lot of money on launch. And I think we made like $3,000. And that was kind of a reality kicker there when a mindset shifted. We're like, wow, we really got to figure some shit out. And
if I could get the podcast to make $3,000, I'd quit my job. And you're over here like, he's like, if all we made was $3,000 in a night. It was bullshit.
Right.
What?
We just didn't have any money.
4 years in.
We had no job. We kind of just went out on a limb and moved there with just whatever we had saved up to put into it. And it was a marketing thing. We didn't have enough money to market. And at the end of the day, it was a great experience. I think even before that, I learned more in that 6 months of just learning how to build a website. And these fundamental things for Keith were very like, I learned so much so quickly and didn't necessarily know how to apply them once we got into it. And it was like going, we were like on stilts, like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Just wavering.
Exactly. And Brendan, you hit the nail on the head too. Like they weren't teaching this stuff in school. You know, if you were a marketing major at that time, like you weren't learning.
No, because they were talking about old school stuff, reach and frequency and shit like that doesn't even exist now.
I literally see marketing companies doing shit that friends of mine invented, you know?
That's
like,
beautiful.
Yeah, it's unreal. Like
I love that.
I know a guy who teaches a college course on internet marketing.
Well, that's what they did. They went to you to learn the stuff they weren't teaching yet.
Yeah.
And
you could probably teach that class now.
Yeah, I'm
good.
done with that world. Yeah, I fell out of love with marketing. Really more advertising, I think. I fell out of love with, you know.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do any marketing. That's the biggest problem here.
I want to say I had a marketing teacher that ever since I've looked at ads and everything a different way, and especially as being part of your profession, now I look at billboards and I don't just read what it's telling me. I look how the font's spaced out and what the background looks like and just these little details that it's just a whole other world of like dissecting it and kind of looking at it.
As an artist, is that crippling? Like to start to have to think about font?
It's everywhere.
Shit like that?
I mean, it's everywhere you look.
It is.
Handwriting, it's crazy.
But not necessarily in art. You don't necessarily have to have font. So it's like now you have to think how this is going to look in different various settings.
Yeah. What I'm doing, I have to look at font.
Yeah.
And like feel like what the emotion comes from each, maybe a photograph or a font.
I think like a good example, like the letter capital E, if they're all even, every stem, it's like a certain thing. If the middle one is shorter, it's Art Deco.
Or higher,
there's all these elements to the typography and that sets that kind of automatic judgment of what it is prior to even reading it. You're just...
And those trends change, too.
Right.
Just like fashion and everything else, everything rewinds every 20, 30
Except
years,
Comic Sans. That's shit, right? Like across
Sans.
the board.
Helvetica.
Like it's always been bad. Like no one uses it. Type an email in Comic Sans. People are like, this dude sucks. I'm not
because
listening.
it kind of looks like somebody tried to hand draw it, but not really.
Look, when Comic Sans first came out, it was the shit.
Oh, someone made a fortune on that because it's in every single piece of software you get. Like, would you want like Comic Sans? No, I want them to take me seriously.
The coolest lettering stuff is all the really old school sign painting handbooks. They teach you each stroke goes a certain way, and it has a certain aesthetic that, to me, it has a really like timeless kind of thing, whether it's old or new.
Liam does that.
Not to change the subject, but sorry.
A real artist.
Geeking me out.
So
we talked to Chris a little while ago about rebranding some of our body care products for our CBD hemp company.
Yep, and we didn't get into that. So you're doing CBD products, right?
Exactly. So Chris has been our artist since the beginning, and so we launched the company back in 2017, and so we wanted to bring Chris on because he's a very well-known artist here in the area. He works with a lot of friends companies. Like obviously, he's been working with Nectar. He's been working with Revelry Brewery, McKevlin Surf Shop, and so we had brought him on. And a little while ago, we wanted to kind of make a different style for our almost rebranding this body care line that we're having come out pretty soon. So we're having like a body butter with royal jelly in it, and it's going to be pretty cool. And when we were talking to Chris about it, he's like, we said we wanted it to be an elevated product. And he said something to John. He's like, well, when it's, all elevated really means is that's just like simpler. And so I did a little bit of research on it, and really any elevated product is just like boring basic text. It's like not as fun, and
I mean, I like the way it looks, but at a certain point, it's like if everybody's kind of going on trend, everybody's going to look the same.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
So you still want to kind of make yourself unique within any kind of business. I feel like that's
rather than just using
important.
like Helvetica as your font for your logo.
Yeah, I mean,
like that.
using the right way can still be effective. It's just, I don't know. I think just setting everything apart and making it unique. But yes, elevated to me makes it sound like minimal, but you can still have an elevated look with an illustrated feel.
Does elevated just mean high end? I mean, is that kind of the look? So this is
like
a byproduct of the Apple Store.
Boutique-y kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, less static. And more simple text and stuff, but you can still have fun with it. It's just letting the product speak for itself, I think, more so. Mm-hmm. Without all the fluff, maybe.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
I mean, I think it's that minimalist look. I mean, that's where things are good, because when you see minimalist, you think clean and you go, oh, this is quality.
Yeah, I mean, the craft beer industry is a perfect example. Like, everybody kind of went this very graphic design route. A lot of sick cans, but at the same time, a lot of them are starting to look the same now, too. So now people are getting so far out there that there's art on the front of the can or wrapping around it. Sometimes you have a hard time finding out who the brewery is.
Yeah, I guess there's some truth.
So it's almost it goes against everything that I learned in marketing.
It kind of looks like noise. When you're looking at the beer aisle, it's just a bunch of different graphics. It's like,
what can catch your attention?
Overwhelming, yeah. It's like, what is all of this? Jesus.
Yeah.
What font did you use for Fearless 45? Because I do remember that it had a very distinct logo.
Comic Sans.
I wish a motherfucker would. That sounds about right.
So were you guys like leading the videos? Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
You were in it?
Yeah.
And are these
So is
still
Keith.
out there on the internet?
No.
Like, I
That's a
desperately
shame.
want to find them.
Can we have a viewing party in our sleeping bags?
Yeah.
I can assure
mean-
you, no joke, if you do this thing for 45 days, you will get shredded. Because
We had, like, Keith was our prototype. Like, he's always been pretty skinny, and he probably gained 20 pounds of muscle in a month or two.
I was ripped.
Like, ripped. And then
Felt great.
my brother did it, and Brendan was on it, and people were doing it. We had, like, good testimonials. We just didn't have the money to really market it.
Yeah.
It worked, but it was hard to get people out of bed to do a workout. They wanted to go to a gym or whatever it was. So
I loved it. You could do it at home.
right, and that was
I
the concept. And
I like did videos for them, like here's my before, here's my after, and I would pick like the worst room in my house to demonstrate you could work out in a chicken coop if you needed to. Like, there's shit everywhere. It's like I'd be like,
Well,
oh,
you
this
did
looks
before and
bad.
after videos?
yeah,
I did. I took a before picture and an after picture.
he looked
It was
real
great.
bad.
It was awesome.
It was impressive. Like, honestly, I was like, holy shit, like, look at me. And it's all gone. And I always thought, well, the video will live forever. Gone.
And
No,
actually, we
I
can't
still
even
have the
find,
video
I can't even
on my
find it. We had
computer.
a 7-minute stomach workout. Remember that?
Oh, the extra
abs,
7.
the-
Yeah, that was
yeah.
the upsell.
So you could upsell for 7-minute abs?
And
Yeah, it was
Like the
insane.
something about Mary angle?
7-minute abs. And we've lost that video forever. I have no idea where it is.
Have you
Yeah.
lost the abs?
No.
He's still got it.
I still got the app.
Yeah, he doesn't.
They last forever.
Nice.
Yeah, me too.
Fearless forever.
No, we had an awesome logo, and then I told a story last night about apparently Keith had blocked this out of his memory, but we were trying to buy the domain. We had Fearless 45 because it was a 45-day program. The other one was taken by somebody who it wasn't being used. We had contacted them, and finally we had done all this work. It was live. He gets back to us and says, I want, I don't know, 15 or 20 grand for the thing, and Keith is like, let me call him. So John and I are waiting as Keith is
So
talking to this
just
guy.
that $3,000 was burning a hole in your pocket. You needed that domain.
No, I mean, we just thought it was strong. The concept was, to Keith's advice, if you make a domain, it should have a benefit in the name. So everybody would like a fearless body. And
Isn't F45 a big gym now?
And listen, we were right
Oh,
there.
really?
It's massive.
think
It's
so.
global.
No
Like a Planet
way.
Fitness
Started
kind
in
of thing.
Australia or something. Now it's all over. They franchised, and it's massive. And what's
Oh,
interesting
they
is
need to buy your old domain.
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
If you just
Damn
kept it,
Listen up, at 45.
Yeah, that's $13 a year.
but
Dude. It's like $1 a month.
But Keith calls this guy and he walks around and we're like anxiously waiting. He comes in and has a phone on his chest and we're like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Just wait a second." And he's just buying time. And he goes, "Hey, so I don't think our parents are gonna want to do that." So we kind of framed it like it was a high school project, and we only had like $1,000. And I think we got it for like $1,500 or something.
Oh, this is genius.
Right.
So you were
brilliant.
built on the back of a lie. Respect. Respect.
I don't know if I look at it that way.
No, but I look at things through my own lens. You know,
Yeah.
the mic in front of me, it just comes out of my mouth.
Anyways, it was a good experience learning for me and John. Just he needed kind of that, I think, military background, that structure, and he wasn't quite set up to continue to pursue.
But you parlayed
stuff.
that into Nectar Sunglasses. I mean, that
Yeah.
experience allowed you to see the pitfalls and see the successes, and then come out with a better product.
Sure, there was I had a lot of pressure on myself too, to like I need to redeem myself from. I knew I wanted to do
So
something.
it hurt. It hurt when
a
Fearless
lot,
45
yeah.
went
And it was a
down.
weird time of my life being in Atlanta, and we didn't know anybody except a few people, and student loans at that time started coming on my in the mail. I didn't even know what they were at that
Oh,
time.
and Keith's sending a bill
Right.
next week. We were talking about it last night. It's coming.
Yeah, it'll be coming around. I don't know. It's just a tough time. I was super broke and didn't know. I remember thinking like, "What the fuck am I doing down here? Like, I need to figure something out," and just kind of was working towards something. So
Well, it worked because this warehouse is awesome. And you've created a brand, man. Like, I love it. Like, people flock to it. They always have. So it certainly worked. So
Yeah.
congrats.
appreciate it.
And I wish I still had that body. Fearless 45. Little.
Never too late to jump back on.
Yeah, we'll send
If
you the
I
videos.
can get my hands on the videos,
I-
I will do another before and after.
Yeah, I feel like
Or-
we'll send you the zip file. I have them.
That would be fantastic. I could certainly get into that. Oh, the beers.
Beers.
Everyone's going on a beer run right now.
Yeah, I'll grab another red.
I love it.
Whichever they are.
I love it. So, Liam, I do want to talk to you a little bit because you're in an interesting industry, to say the least. The CBD world is blowing up. I see
Interesting
it
is a good way to
everywhere.
put it, for sure. It's so our company's called Apis Mercantile. So I started it back in 2017 with my best friend John Burdix.
Okay.
So to give you a little backstory, we both went to the College of Charleston here.
Okay.
We lived downtown, and we had a garden in the backyard, and we weren't the normal college kids. We had crazy types of peppers and herbs. We had muscadine grapes, like lining the fence in our backyard.
Nice. Why make good wine, right?
Yeah.
Let's make muscadine.
But so we ended up keeping honeybees, and so we ended up having 2 hives, and we probably had between 60 and 70,000 honeybees in our backyard, and nobody knew it.
In
But we were actually
downtown
downtown
Charleston.
Charleston, and nobody knew it. But we were pollinating a good portion of the downtown peninsula. So after that, John went to work in the honey industry for a few years. I went to work in the surfing industry, and then in 2017, we were both hemp enthusiasts, if you will, to kind of put that lightly.
Yeah.
And we wanted to kind of combine everything that we knew about honeybees with hemp. And so we started doing CBD-infused honey.
Now, how long ago was this?
That was, we started it in 2017. And then I started kind of dabbling with like Photoshop and stuff and making our labels and logos and stuff. And then we got a little traction, we got some money, and then we brought Chris Kemp on board. And so that's how we had kind of gotten teamed up. And I'd known Chris just from surfing and the surfing industry for years before that. But so when you say an interesting industry, you have to roll with the punches like crazy. Like before this, we were talking a little bit about how like South Carolina Department of Agriculture, they're like bullies, man. Like they're going to pick on you and make it as hard as possible for you to be able to produce, your products here. For a while, we had to do our infusions out in Denver, Colorado, because South Carolina chose not to regulate CBD as a food ingredient. Now the laws are becoming more clear, so we shut down our facility out there and we moved it here, actually kind of right next door to Nectar's warehouse. So we can walk back and forth through each other's warehouses and everything now. So
We have a tin cup that we communicate with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I hear the
String.
solo cup rattling. Pick it up. What's the message?
exactly. But so for one example, Chris does all of our labels. And they would come back and be like, oh, you have to make the font size on the net weight 1 point larger.
Because
and
they have to regulate it. Like you're dealing.
Exactly.
So you're dealing with just the FDA, or do?
Well, no, the FDA does not regulate
Department
it.
of Agriculture.
Yeah, Department of Agriculture.
Right. Okay.
So there's always regulations for everything, but with the CBD cannabis world, it's just it keeps changing, and especially with South Carolina.
To the point that like 2 years ago they tried to make that a Schedule 1. Like they tried to move CBD over. Is that?
Well, so right now, actually, so this is another reason why we have to roll with the punches. So at first we had branded everything, CBD honey, CBD
it was legal in all
tinctures.
50 states, right?
It was before.
And then all of a sudden they'd raise the flag like, wait a minute, we
Yeah,
don't want to
so-
do this. And it was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I think
This
it
is for
becomes an
fucking
issue
hemp.
when it comes into food or beverage, right?
Yeah, that definitely complicates it a lot. So, December 20th, 2018, that's when the president signed the Farm Bill, federally legalizing industrial hemp.
Perfect.
Then-
Okay, I didn't know that. That's
so
great news.
that happened. That was
explains why I
awesome.
have hemp sandals then, because I was like,
Yeah,
I'm wearing felonious sandals. I was like, this is crazy.
Yep. So, and then recently, I think it was May 28th, I believe, the FDA had a public hearing kind of saying...
That was after the government shutdown, right?
yeah, it
Because
was.
everybody was on the cusp and nobody knew what to do
Oh
with
my
their
God,
labels
it
for
was-
a week.
We had no idea
So you were
what
just
was gonna
stuck in
happen.
limbo.
And that
Yeah,
happened-
just sweating, man, not knowing if we were going to be able to keep doing it or what, and we had invested so much money and all of our time. John and I both went full time just doing this.
Bees
John
are like,
left
where's
his,
my check?
Yeah, exactly.
We've been working.
Yep. But so then the FDA had its public hearing, and now it looks like CBD is going to be quote unquote illegal because of what I believe is some dirty politics. Because
Wait, CBDs in general,
really
letters?
just the word.
Is it just
So-
what you say? Or
yeah, so CBD is a cannabinoid. So
Yes.
hemp plants contain tons and tons of cannabinoids, like THC being the famous one. There's also other ones that are very helpful, like CBG. CBD right now, obviously is the hot one that's everywhere. But so there's one drug from GW Farms, huge pharmaceutical company,
Okay.
called Epidiolex. And Epidiolex is the only FDA-approved drug that has CBD in it, specifically CBD isolate, where it's isolated from all the other
Yep.
cannabinoids. And so since it's used in an FDA-approved drug, it's kind of considered like a drug ingredient. So they're not going to want to put that, they're not going to let people put that in food or be able to sell it over the counter. So pretty soon you're going to see a lot of CBD companies going away. So we've talked to our attorneys, and also John is phenomenal at just doing research and kind of teaching himself about the trends and how the industry is going to go. And so we have had to make our labels compliant to what we foresee the regulations being. So now we've removed CBD from all of our labels. Now you can put the milligram amount that's in there of CBD content. You can put full spectrum. You can put hemp extract. You can put phytocannabinoid and all that. You just can't put the letters CBD. And
it said hemp honey, and then they said it had to say hemp oil honey.
Yeah, so this is
Which
hilarious.
is so frustrating because my dog, I give him CBD. We were talking about this before, that he's riddled with cancer, and honestly I can tell if I give him the good
help him?
CBD stuff, he
Yeah.
loves these chewables, and then he's doing great. But the ones that say hemp, I'm like, I don't trust that shit.
Exactly, and
hemp
that's what sucks
extract.
because it's the same thing.
Is it like natural or an organic? It's like you don't,
Well, so
you don't know what to
Because I
trust.
look for CBD. I honestly, I want it to say CBD, so it's not just hemp oil. 'Cause I'm like,
Exactly.
may as well be
I bet
flaxseed
you
oil.
it'll turn into eventually what's the federally traded USDA organic certified?
So to get a certification,
They're probably
maybe.
going to eventually. I don't know.
So you're
I don't
right.
know
That'd
what's
be
gonna
awesome
happen.
if they did.
It
Because
what do we
could,
look
but you know
for
what?
now?
There's also companies though that they have to go above all these little things just to get that certification when it's the same. It's the same.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Kind of an awesome ringtone.
Sorry for my James Brown ringtone.
yeah, you have to go through all these hoops and bounds just to be able to have that certification. Even though, it's the exact
Do you
same
think that
thing.
that's a money grab?
the letters like CBD?
Yeah, do you think they're going to try to get a money grab here where they're like, you can't say CBD
Man,
anymore unless you
I
get this
kinda
stamp?
think it is.
That way we can tax you differently.
Because that's the only one that, again, the FDA does not regulate the hemp industry, and so
it's a money grab.
yeah, so there's only one, and there's only two rare forms of childhood epilepsy that makes you able to get prescribed Epidiolex. So we did a nonprofit fundraiser for epilepsy a little while ago, Bohemian Bull, here on James Island.
Okay.
And this one woman came up to us because Epidiolex had a tent set up there also. And this one woman came up and she's like, how dare they? How dare they take that away from my child who, doesn't have that specific type of childhood epilepsy, so they can't get
that stuff breaks my heart.
Totally, man. It's unfair.
This
it's
is
totally
the whole
unfair.
Charlotte's Web problem. When that first came out, that was the first time that I remember like marijuana growers actively removed all the THC and to make it so it would actually help children, and then they were able to take the extracts and stop cases of epilepsy. And there's cases that you hear about where they actually remove this, and then the children have a seizure and die.
Yeah,
I mean, like quite literally. And it's funny because I honestly used to be of like the belief where I'm like, yeah, CBD, there's all these medicinal qualities. And in my mind, I'm going, there's no medicinal qualities. But if this is the loophole that gets us where we want to be, then this is the loophole we're going to.
I think there are, but I
but
do.
I've learned, I've changed. Like I've seen too much now that I'm like, this is real. Like this is honest to God medicine that reacts with people. I know people with anxiety. I know people with seizures. I know people with just general like joint pains, like inflammation. It seems to help. And
once they fully legalize it, we'll be able to figure out the full potential.
Yeah, we're not even
everything,
there. We're
but
scratching the surface.
Yeah.
It's like they make all these steps forward. Like, again, December 20th, 2018, they signed the Farm Bill, federally legalized industrial hemp. Now let's take a couple steps back and limit CBD isolate just to these people. And let's take the word CBD off all this stuff. So
But
that
it's
way
really
people
just
won't buy like hemp extract products like what you're saying.
Yep.
Like, what you were just saying, how you feel more comfortable buying it if it says CBD. Well,
I
what
do.
sucks is now everyone who's now been educated on CBD are going to have to be re-educated, knowing that a full spectrum hemp extract is mainly just CBD, and it does contain like trace amounts of THC under the legal limit and all the other cannabinoids as well. And what's funny too is full spectrum hemp extract is actually a little bit more effective than CBD isolate, and the full spectrum contains a little bit of THC where the CBD isolate doesn't.
So they're screwing over the whole system.
Dude, it's so backwards. It's ridiculous.
That's marketing right there. So what do we look for? Like Brendan was talking. You were talking about your dog.
Yep.
So if it doesn't say CBD, what do you look for? I did the same thing, looking for CBD. I was like curious. I'm like,
because my wife bought some hemp oil at one time, and I was like, oh, that's no good. It might have been perfectly fine. I didn't know that I should have been reading the label for
basically
full
the same
spectrum.
thing.
Exactly.
Full spectrum. Okay, she did get the right stuff. I actually owe an apology now because we had this like
always
this
the
long
worst.
conversation. I was like, come on, you bought hemp oil? Like that's good for making food, not for. Now I'm a dick. So
Well,
I'll see
if
her
it
later
said
tonight.
hemp seed oil, then you'd still be correct. A lot of people will do that. Like,
Oh, I'll just labor under the assumption it was hemp seed oil, and she still was wrong.
exactly. There you go.
I win again. It's brilliant. Perfect. You blew it. That's hemp seed oil. It gives everything a nutty flavor. Doesn't actually fix the dog. Yeah, it's about that time. I like that.
I want to pivot over to the Chris, we're going to try your beer, even though Ely isn't present.
Nope.
Oh.
But we
I
can.
hope he would like it.
He
well,
might not.
actually,
but
there's a fighting chance because I believe it was a Kolsch style
The
beer,
Kolsch is
Yeah,
a
he-
lighter
which
style.
is pretty mainstream as far as flavor profile. So I think
All right,
he
let me-
would like it. I'll do my best.
I haven't met him, but I'm sure he's a decent fellow, and he would like good beer.
He's a very good guy. He just
Yeah.
has a natter day problem.
Other than that,
It's an unfortunate thing. It's like when you find out your buddy's doing meth. You're like, really? Like I don't know you should be doing that. I don't think that's good in the long term. But if you're just dabbling in natter days, like okay, yeah, you think you know someone, and then they send you a picture with pineapples and strawberries on it. Like it's officially the Riva beer, which would piss him off that I said Riva. He can't stand when people drop the R.
it's like
It's a
saying
AH.
OBX.
Yeah, in Virginia, people drop that R. It's a Riva.
A river.
Yeah, they're very fancy up there. All right, so you did all the artwork on these, huh? This is awesome. Sorry, Chris, I realize you're not on the mic and I'm asking you direct questions. He's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yes.
So you do the artwork on all of the Revelry beers here in
Yes.
Charleston. Are these in Charleston? Where are these coming from?
We're located in Charleston, but we're currently, as of last year, distributing in Georgia and North Carolina as well.
Ooh. All right, you're getting closer to me.
Congratulations.
I like where this is
Inching
going.
there. Your
The-
favorite artist.
The art on this thing is pretty cool too. Can you describe this?
Yes, so this is called the Kookasaurus Kolsch, and just kind of having fun with, the kooky, the word kook. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen Kook Slams or any of the Instagram pages dedicated to everybody that's really surfing like a nerd. They got surfboards hanging out of their Miatas and et cetera, et cetera. But
we touched a Miata nerve. I have a Miata.
oh, do you have a Miata?
He loves
I
you
love
put a surfboard
Miatas. I
sticking straight
meant
up.
Mini Coopers.
It's like, yeah, no, those are lame.
He loves his Miata, so don't get.
Oh, it's
I love-
okay.
Do you really have a Miata?
I have a 95 Miata.
I love that body style.
It's the classic.
Every other one.
But it's, yeah, I'm with you there. But once they lost the pop-up headlights, pretty lame.
His last one got blown up in a gasoline fight.
Yeah, very.
What was?
No, so I honestly bought, I guess it was about 2 years ago now, a 95 Miata because I wanted to get a Roadster. Like, actually, I wanted a Triumph. Like
It's
an
not
old,
fast, right?
Mine has a supercharger on it. Like, I'm like all
you're
fast and
you're
furious.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, like I'm very Vin Diesel.
Sweet.
You should have seen me after the Fearless 45.
Yeah.
That would have made more sense. But I bought this thing. This guy had one. I was looking at all these Roadsters, and I was like, I don't want to spend a fortune on a Roadster, and I want something that's reliable. Everything comes back, get the Miata. And I'm like, but they suck. Like, why would I want a car that sucks? Then every article is like, but it's the best.
What about the RX-7? If you're in the
Sweet, but
Mazda
those
world?
rotary engines, they don't hold up. Again, I looked, and then I found this guy who had put he changed the look of it ever so slightly, and I was like, ooh, that shit's dope. And then I test drove it. I was like, hey, why is that so fast? He's like, oh, it's supercharged. And I'm like, ooh, I think I'm gonna buy this. So I've got this weird one-off Miata.
Nice.
I
like it.
Which I'm now gonna get Kookasaurus on the license plate.
That's the 95 one you're talking about?
The 95.
I actually
love
was in
this
the
piece
Fast
of
and the
shit.
Furious when I was in high school, and
You were one of those?
I had
Oh,
clear
totally.
taillights.
No.
and exhaust.
Dude, mark my words, I will absolutely have that same exact Skyline before the day I die from the first Fast and the Furious.
Oh, the GTR.
Yeah, the blue one.
I
That
saw a
thing
guy
is
with one of
sick.
those the other day, and it was the right-hand drive. He was coming.
Yeah.
I was like,
Was it Brian
look at-
O'Connor?
I don't know. It was in Richmond, so
There's a couple people around here that import.
yeah,
cars
that's what
from
this kid had
Japan
done.
and stuff.
And I
yeah.
was like, I respect you, kid. Like, you're 17 years old and you've already
It's pretty
figured
cool.
out that may be the greatest car ever.
There's a
Yeah.
car.
No.
There's a car in town. Have you guys seen it? It's a white Bronco, and the license plate says "not OJ."
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yes, I did.
I
did.
love that.
That's
That's
brilliant.
custom.
Yeah.
I had a buddy in high school and it just said the juice. He had a white Bronco.
Oh.
That's what his
Oh
said.
my
the juice.
God. Jesus.
Asking for it.
It's funny now.
Yeah, they're asking for it. Don't make fun of it. Yeah, it's funny now. It's
Yeah.
amazing how quickly that fades.
If he had a glove flapping off the back.
Oh my God. jeez.
Sean,
Sorry.
Oh, like instead of the little balls
Yeah,
that hang off.
exactly.
Yeah,
It
like
didn't
the little,
fit, so-
glove. Yeah.
yeah,
Leather tightened up after the sweat.
that's how that works.
So let's.
Yeah, so
Let's
the
all-
Kookasaurus, I'm excited about this. So it's literally like a Tyrannosaurus Rex with flippers on, and a beach towel off the back, and then
Yeah, he's got
a surfboard.
puka shells and then the nose guard, a bunch of stickers.
He's got
A
fins
lot of
on.
things that just seem uncool now, I guess, but
To define a coupe.
it's all trend. It's
He's got a Mazda
what-
key.
if you're cool, you're cool. It doesn't really matter. So, but the beer's really good. That's what
Actually, so
matters.
I was trying the Gula Cream Ale prior
Oh,
to
it's
this.
Gullah.
Gullah cream ale.
Close.
So the,
Yeah.
Gula.
I was doing my southern accent.
My Gula.
I actually thought this was a fantastic beer.
it's really good. Brewed with grits and too.
For real?
Yeah.
That's the best grits I've
Interesting.
ever had.
So they do little details with the beers that really make them special and add different ingredients. And,
The artwork on
Right.
this one, is this reminiscent of the basket weaving kind of thing? Is that what
yeah, a
it, like-
lot of the native Gullah Geechee.
is that what it's
downtown.
called?
It's a culture.
Gullah,
Oh,
yeah.
you nailed it.
Yeah, so they'll what's the
Weave.
word? Weave. Thing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say braid, but
I like to
these
braid a
little
basket.
palmetto flowers though.
Yeah,
And
'cause-
so-
that's what I thought that was.
So that was the first can I did when I was painting murals at Revelry to begin with. There's a lot of those kids that live on that block, and they would bring these palmetto flowers up to me, trying to sell them to me. And I was broke artist guy when I was living here. I was like, sorry, can't really afford it. Or once in a while I will. I don't remember what I did, but anyway, I started spray painting the tips of these roses red for them. Because I was already working on the mural with a
Nice.
grayscale and then a slight red and gold in there. Anyway, they'd come back to me and then tell me that they they sold them for twice as much.
That's
your
the
cut?
best.
So
You went
I'm
from
in.
you're like, could these kids stop coming by to all right, I helped them.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
we
it was
hooked it up.
fun. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
So you should check out Revelry while you're in town because he's done all the art on the outside,
I
inside.
definitely want to check that out because apparently I love everything I've seen that you do. So
Oh, well,
I need
thanks.
to go there.
That's a good looking can too. Do you have a favorite
Favorite can or favorite beer?
design?
Oh, that's a good question. Those are two very different. Favorite can
Very
and then
different
favorite
questions.
beer.
No. I don't have a favorite band either.
That's what I say about my kids too. They're like, "Which one's your favorite?" I'm like, "Yeah, you're both my favorite." But wink, wink. You know which one's your favorite.
Yeah, I mean, no. I'm not that. No. I like all of the ones we're drinking right now.
I can tell you that if I look at them,
I like the No Way goes. It's like the
I like the
sombrero.
up Shemp Creek too. Like I kind of like
Goza.
that.
Oh, the Amigos. That was the
Amigosa,
one.
yeah.
Morgan was here earlier. That was a Mex One collaboration.
Yeah. It's like a Mexican sombrero, and it says, "What is it?"
I think I pronounced it wrong the whole time. I was saying Amigosa, but I think it's Amigos.
Amigos. Yeah.
Next one
Isn't
does
that the
talk.
rap band, the Migos.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
So you do the artwork for the Migos? That's huge.
No, I would never do that. I'm too big of a hip hop fan to work for. I'm not trying to be a critic here. Never mind.
No,
Don't
we heard
sleep.
where you were coming from.
Yeah, we got it. We felt
Not
it.
a Migos guy. You've smiled the entire time until that moment. You were Migos. It's like, dude.
Dark place. So let's all try and see what you think. And how does Ely how do you guys typically do it so they know when you try a beer?
Oh, it's just 1 to 5. Anything that you're feeling. Like 5 would be a Guinness in my world.
But there's different situations. Like beers are good at different times of the day.
And that's a fact.
Different.
And so-
on the river, Natter days might be expected.
I agree. An Saturday is acceptable after mowing multiple lawns. Not one.
I like-
You didn't earn it. It's just one fucking lawn. But if you've done the whole neighborhood, have a Natter Day. You're a
Like
grown
10
up.
Natter days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You paint a bunch of little kids gula flowers. You fucking help it out. Have a Natter Day. You've done your part. You know? That's how it's done. I can respect that.
Well, cheers, guys.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah. So I'm excited about the Kookasaurus from Revelry. This is, from what I've tasted, it's a pretty tasty beer.
That is delicious.
That is really good.
Yeah.
Really
Now
easy.
that's not Kolsch in my mind. Like Kolsch has nothing going on. This has something going on.
Got some good flavor.
I feel like
Yeah.
it carries some weight with it.
Still in the
for-
style. Yeah.
Most people who make Kolsch's, that's like designed for like, I want a beer while I'm showering. You know, you don't want to taste much. You know, you want,
I only drink Natter days when I shower.
that's why I stopped showering. It's fucking Natter days. So, but this is good. Sean, do you have a?
Let me get one more
opinion?
sip.
It's not a Slurpee.
No, you got to get the bubbles in there to let it really come out. For me, I don't know too much about, like, I have certain beers I drink because I think they taste good and don't dig into the style per se. Like IPA, I don't know if it's super hoppy or I just like if it doesn't dry my mouth out. You know.
Yeah.
No, I would give this a 4. You know, I feel like you could drink this on the boat, but this would for me be more like right now where you're hanging out, not trying to work through beers quickly and just enjoying it.
Oh, we're not.
Yeah, you need another one.
Oh,
I'm gonna
wait.
take that
We're
back.
not?
No.
Shit.
It's
looks like-
actually pretty low ABV. Like I think
Yeah, it's
what's
5%.
What's
which
a Miller
is-
Lite? Like 4?
It's right up near 5. It was like 4
or
and
5.
change.
So
Yeah.
like the Kolsch and the cream. There's a lot of like I like when it's hot out. I like that.
I actually would far prefer that breweries give me more options that aren't super heavy. I'm looking over here. You got
Yeah.
A 5%, a 5%. This one, they don't mention it. That means it's probably
No,
pretty
it's
strong.
5%.
5%.
Otherwise,
See,
they didn't do a good job.
Do you think that was associated? You think the numbers associated with like flavor? Like if it's a 9%, it's gonna have more flavor. I mean,
but it doesn't necessarily.
It doesn't necessarily.
Right,
There's
this
a
is
lot of
proving it.
deceiving.
It just means you're going to regret the CBD oil you bought online. It's just hemp seed.
right?
It's trash. Half spectrum. If I say it like multiple times so I understand full spectrum,
Dude,
then I will be
half spectrum,
educated.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, that's the one. This is some half spectrum shit because the beers were 9%. It made some bad
Dude,
choices.
we start like bashing, like we never do this publicly, obviously, bash other companies. Between John and myself, and we see like bad marketing or people, have a ton of like bad reviews because they're not actually putting the correct amount of content in there. I think I'm totally gonna start using like, dude, yeah, they're a half spectrum.
It's a half
company,
spectrum.
man.
Spectrum.
I can respect that. I would be psyched if you do that because there's nothing worse than finding out you got half spectrum
CBD Ultra.
Yes.
CBD light.
That's right. From when you're trying to watch your CBD count. I don't want so many CBDs. I wanted to get some good effects, but not enough to know.
Yeah.
This stuff's perfect. I still
half
feel
spec.
bad. I'm anxious. This is great.
So we're gonna have to change our entire language around CBD.
We have to.
Yeah, totally. And
It's
again,
all
you're
full
going to
spectrum.
see a lot of companies disappearing pretty soon.
So you're gonna have the full spectrum honey. Like you're already moving down this road.
Dude, we're
Like,
going
that's-
full spectrum, honey.
I
But
can
yeah, so
respect it.
another thing actually Chris had mentioned earlier is when we were battling with Department of Ag to get our labels approved, they started saying, it has to say hemp oil honey, which does not sound as cool as as hemp honey.
No, I would have berated my wife for ordering it. Like, what? This is the wrong stuff.
Dude, and here's the funny thing. So their argument was like, oh, well, people are going to think that the bees are collecting nectar from the hemp plants. And it's like, well,
Oh, shit.
no, they're not. That's fucking impossible because hemp is a non-nectar producing plant.
It
So,
doesn't have flowers.
yeah, well, their
Right.
flowers are
So-
buds, but they don't have nectar.
So would you like in the beer world? You would have to be like in India pale ale with CBD or with peaches and apricots and CBD or something.
Okay.
You know, it's
So-
like they're pretty picky about how you
Actually-
phrase things.
I have a client right now that is actually making CBD infused wines out of Florida,
So
and this is like
legally,
yeah.
Well, doesn't that seem a little?
Yeah.
Well,
so
no, we
Chris,
did a
tell
beer.
about that.
we did a beer, but
I would love to know because as soon as I saw it, I go, it's downers and downers. I don't know if we can do that.
I think it's a matter of are you like Liam's talking to? There's a lot of other companies that are just doing their thing and not actually federally regulated.
Yeah, they're not trying to be compliant, but a lot of companies will get away with it for a long time. Like they're-
Legally, a distributor
Well-
might not let them distribute that.
Well, they're out of Florida, which is like Cuba north. So
It's pretty damn close to here.
yeah. Oh, is it pretty Wild West? Because Florida's crazy. Like you get
mean,
away with anything. Like
we-
you can stab someone once. That's
Yeah.
that's the law.
Yeah.
I don't think
No.
that's right. I don't think that's accurate.
No.
Pretty sure.
But it
that's
sounds
illegal.
very Florida,
No.
doesn't
They
it?
throw an
Like,
alligator at you.
he was in an Arby's line and got
Have you
stabbed
been
once.
to
which is-
Miami?
yeah, it's
Have you been to Tampa?
the land of have and have-nots, Miami. That is an interesting place. It's either a yacht or a cardboard box, and not a lot of like middle ground. It's really
So
strange.
it's like
to
LA.
see.
Facts.
But on the
LA is
beach.
very much
Or
the-
it is on the beach, but yeah.
LA is very similar.
Yeah.
Like those places have way too much money for those that have
There's
it.
no in betweens.
There's no in betweens.
Yeah.
But that's why you get away with like wine with CBD in it. 'Cause
So what do you say? What do you call the ingredient? Once CBD is illegal.
So now you have to say hemp.
like hemp
I
extract.
think it's just a
basically.
matter of labeling guidelines. I don't think it's illegal. I think it's just a matter of the terminology that you use.
But
I was
this-
watching it on the news last week. Carl's Jr. has a cheeseburger with CBD in it.
What?
That's
yeah, I heard
awesome.
something
Like-
about that.
That's a.
I'll try
First
that.
of all right. At the end of the day,
I'd eat it.
at the end of the day, I just want to puff on a bowl. I don't really need to have CBD in my cheeseburgers and everything else. But
I would still.
there are
try.
medical.
Yeah.
It's nice to involve it in your life, but
It's like now you're
There's a
getting
little over-
you're getting medicinal properties from a fucking cheeseburger that's not that good for you.
I don't even trust that
America.
Carl's Jr.'s making a real burger.
Dude, it's
Like,
hemp
so-
seed oil in the
Right.
burger, man. They're faking it.
I know it is. It tastes so nutty. It's bullshit. I'm with you. That stuff is trash.
Off topic, but have you tried the Impossible Burger from Burger
No,
King?
but we're desperately trying.
what is the
to.
Impossible Burger?
It's all
So it's
Bacon.
all it's plant based, and
Oh.
it's
oh,
not,
it's like a Beyond Burger.
it's like a Beyond.
Yeah,
Burger.
yeah.
yeah. So it's not just like ground up soybeans.
And it's
Yeah.
now
But
round
it's-
two,
but it's
the
actually
2.0. The big difference
2.0.
being that it bleeds. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Like they actually
It's-
went out of their way to make sure that when you're cutting it, it bleeds red.
So it's like medium rare.
Yeah,
Wait,
now I'm like.
is that the Burger King one or the Beyond Burger?
So the
No,
Impossible
this is
Burger
what you're
2.0 is what they're gonna have at Burger King. So when you bite
Where it'll
in,
bleed.
Yeah.
it'll bleed a
So
little.
What about everything else they throw on the burger, though? Like the tomatoes and the lettuce and the bun and everything else. Is it just filled with...
Chemicals and stuff.
Probably.
I don't know. I mean, it
it
would be
doesn't
really
taste
rad
like
to have healthy fast food.
Well, that's what they're going
Yeah.
for, and sustainable. I mean, that's the whole.
Yeah.
That's the whole belief is that this is going to be sustainable.
Yeah, I tried it.
Well, what did you think? I'm
in
dying
Miami.
to know.
You cannot tell the difference.
Is that because of all the mayonnaise? Because it's a Whopper.
Yeah, no. And actually, that's a fair point because I literally was like, I'm not sure if I can't tell the difference because like 90% of the taste in my mouth
Yeah.
is mayo and ketchup.
Like the
and-
Whopper's
Right.
the
Sugars
best
and,
sandwich at going.
you know.
It doesn't matter what we put in here
Yeah.
because that fucking mayonnaise is
But-
legit. It's full spectrum.
But full spectrum mayo. But I will
strongest
say
matches.
that Burger King did something with those burgers where you taste the like smokiness of it, you know. So
Dang,
I
I
don't know if
really
it's-
want to go now.
Yeah, like
But
I'm
it was
dying.
I think I know
It
what I'm
was
doing
great.
for dinner.
It was great.
Well, they only have them in certain states right now.
Oh.
So it's like
Well, I'm sure South Carolina's
Well, there's
not
like
legal.
a shortage.
You
There's
can't have
like a
vegetarian burgers in
Yeah.
in South
and you
Carolina.
said you had it in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, see that
definitely
adds up
Miami.
because it's an abomination of God, which is on the Florida license plate. An abomination of God. That's right what it says right there.
They
People
did
are
away
like-
with the sunshine state. Now it's just an
Yeah.
abomination of God.
and you're like, oh yeah, it must be in Florida. That's perfect. Yeah, that sounds right that they have it there.
Have you guys done that thing where it's like you type in Florida man and then your birthday on
No.
Google?
Oh,
and then
that's
it comes up with an
beautiful.
article. Dude, it's insane. Like
Wait, what happened on your birthday in Florida?
mine was something. It was something about a guy was. It's gonna sound political, but I don't know. It was something about like this guy was like super for Trump, and he was just doing something crazy, and I can't remember exactly what it was. But he ended up hurting people in a like, public place, and it was on my birthday, January 3rd. So that's what came up for me. But I remember when that started becoming kind of trendy on Facebook, and everybody was posting it, and there was some insane stuff, man. It was like, woman took all the kitchen knives and laid them in her boyfriend's bed, like before he got to bed or something like that. And it's like all this crazy shit that people in Florida, were doing.
Like I said, if only one of them stuck him, legal in Florida.
Legal.
Oh, okay.
Two,
I'm
illegal.
understanding this.
Dude, we went surfing there last fall, and we were getting food before we left back in some weird strip mall shopping center taqueria thing. Literally, a bank robbery went down in the same shopping center.
While you were getting food,
Yeah,
dinner and a show.
like we were sitting outside, to a
dinner
SWAT
and a
team. It was wild. But it's just Florida.
That's it, man. It's Florida, and I can't figure out why.
I
they're
kind of
all
dig it.
there.
The beaches are beautiful. I mean, but the
Beaches
Right.
are beautiful, but
culturally, it's too bright for me.
yeah,
I don't wear pink pants.
You should. It's awesome.
Yeah, when we drive, it's like 3 hours from here. I mean, Liam, you go a lot.
I was,
3.5
with
to
this
like
weekend.
Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jax. I mean, to
Actually,
get
I
to
love
Mayport-
Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's not necessarily like the rest.
But
of
nobody
Florida.
really hangs out in the city in Jacksonville,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
No.
Everybody hangs out on Jacksonville Beach or near Atlantic
Yep.
Beach.
It
Like,
just seems to be the spot though where like
I saw Miata one time at Daytona Beach, on the beach. This dude's riding.
yeah.
shut.
Yeah.
up.
I mean, you can
Dude,
drive any car,
You can-
apparently.
It's not
my
like, so I used to live in the Outer Banks, and it's like, you can't get out on the beach unless you have big tires and
SUV.
you let a lot of air out of
Right.
your tires.
Well, Miatas
Florida,
are
you
actually
can drive everywhere.
Yeah,
It's
Miatas
fair
can
game.
drive on
Hard-packed
anything.
sand.
It was probably turboed, so
Yeah,
it was good.
Supercharged and turbo, probably.
Yeah, I'm not trying
Yeah.
to deal
Is
with
that
turbo
possible?
lag.
We did our.
It cannot be possible.
I did.
I don't think so.
No, you can't. 'Cause they both have to force air in, so they'd have
Yeah.
to. I guess you could marry them up somewhere before it forces the air in.
Hey, it's 2019.
We should do
So-
this.
My-
Oh,
this
shit.
past weekend. So I was in Florida this past weekend, and I go down a lot. So I have another business that started before Apis Mercantile called Shred Season Surfboards. And so we have a used surfboard division, and I have a contract with a pawn shop down there in Mayport, Florida, basically just north of Jack's Beach.
Okay.
So I went down there, and it's in a little bit of a rough area, and so
Well, you had me at pawn shop.
oh yeah, dude, it's awesome.
Wait, you
So
have an account with a pawn shop?
I have a contract with them, yeah. So basically, I end up getting a lot of their boards that they are not able to sell. It's a corporate-owned company, and I'm like the best thing that's happened to them because they have to store all the boards in this room that corporate doesn't allow people to go into. And so I go and basically just buy out all their boards, bring them to my repair guy, and then we resell them 100% watertight and ready to go and surf.
So you're
them all again.
refurbishing the boards, essentially.
Yeah, I'm not doing it myself anymore. My friend Daniel is. He handles that division now. But so anyway, so I went down to this pawn shop, and so I go every single time I go, I'm loading up my truck in the parking lot, and somebody has to come up to you and it's some crazy fucking story, you know. And
Always.
So this one was great. This time I had 2 people come. One was a very bad lingerer. He kept trying to give me a hand, and he's
A hand
touching
job?
Was it a ZJ?
He's trying. Oh, dude!
Jeez.
If you don't know what a ZJ is, you can't afford it.
it.
But so this guy,
I know what it is.
this one dude comes up and he's like, "Hey, man!" And I'd seen him sitting on this bench a little further down, like the parking lot. Dude comes up, he's like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" I'm like, "Good. What's up, man?" I'm so sweaty, just like ready to get out of there. I got like 25 boards. I'm stacking up on the truck, tying them down, and so he comes over to me. He's like, "Hey, man, any chance you got a Band-Aid?" And I was like, "No, dude, I don't have a Band-Aid." And he's like, "Oh, I thought since you had all these surfboards, you're probably bumping your head." Nah, ha, ha, ha. And he's like, this dude's out of his mind. And so
You should have came prepared.
I should have. Well, I'm glad I didn't because then he would have stuck around longer.
You're not a Boy Scout, are you?
No, not necessarily. But
Good point.
But so this
Well
dude,
played.
he ends up pointing down at his leg, and he has this huge gash on like the side of his shin, and it's like I don't know, like it was like a curved like hook, and it was really deep
Did he
and
get hooked?
really bloody. Dude, I don't know what it was.
He
And
didn't tell you?
he goes, well, what he said is like, "Yeah, my buddy thought it'd be funny to shoot me with a staple gun," and ha ha ha, and he's
Oh,
just like
God.
laughing about it. Dude, a staple gun is incapable of doing the amount of damage that man had done to his shin.
Well, you
So
never
I don't
seen
know.
a Florida staple gun.
Apparently not. I don't know.
It's built different.
Yeah, you can put a palm tree on your house. with
Yeah,
that
dude.
thing.
Dude was like, "Oh, I need a Band-Aid. My buddy shot me with a staple gun. I've been crushing Natterdays since fucking 1997. What's up, dude?"
That's exactly right. That's the Natterday wound.
Sounds like Florida.
Yes.
I don't think Natterdays were around in 97.
No, you're right. They're
Okay,
not.
okay. I just wanted to make
That's
sure.
how crazy this guy was.
He's been drinking them from 97.
Yeah, his name's Natterday.
And playing air guitar in his front yard every day.
Yeah.
Those dudes will get you though. Like I got popped by one on Thanksgiving Day. Like I was driving home, some guy got me at the damn gas station and was like, "Oh, I'm trying to get home," and he like knew the town that was like 45 minutes away. I was like, that makes sense. And he was like, "Do you have any money?" And I made the mistake of trying to, like, he was like, "You fill up my gas," so he helped me out. And I made the mistake of checking my wallet, and then had that realization that all it is 20s. So you can't even be
Shit.
like, "Hey, broke dude, can you go in there and get 15 back?" I ended up having to give this dude $20, and I was like eyeballing him, like, I want to watch this fucker fill up his tank. He never filled up his fucking tank. Like he just went around the back, and so I went in, got a sandwich, and waited, just to know. And then sure enough, he came back out like 20 minutes later, hit someone else up, and disappeared into the night. I was like, this son of a bitch. But they always get
It's
you.
hard. You really want to help
wanna
people that
be
need
good.
help.
You want to be good,
But
he didn't even have a hook-shaped wound. It's like that would have helped my cause. Yeah, I got no excuse.
You get that in Atlanta all the time.
Oh, Atlanta's full
Yeah.
of scams.
It's
I
terrible.
grew up. I was working. Well, I grew up an hour out of Baltimore, but my first year out of college, I was working in Baltimore, and it was like I'd roll up on an appointment, and there'd be a dude in the middle of the street with cop cars blocking all the street and knees to their back. Like, it's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very scary. I don't know. I've never been to Atlanta, to be honest.
Atlanta's great.
Is it kind of similar? to
It's
Baltimore?
No, Baltimore's grimier, but Baltimore's got a soul that Atlanta does not, because
Yeah.
Atlanta was built on the backs of like strip malls.
Oh.
Like it like kind of came up. It does, man. You guys expanded very quickly with a lot of new money, and
built
it creates
out of the fire.
yeah, it creates a very
Extreme.
different vibe. Whereas Baltimore is like came out of workers.
I don't
Like,
think
these
I've been
people-
to Baltimore.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's grimy in all the right
It's
ways.
cool. There's
So we
with every city, there's pockets.
oh yeah,
Of course.
every city. My wife and I were at a gas station filling up our tire with air, and we see this guy right away. Like when you see these guys,
Yep.
like, all right, he's getting ready to come over here. So we're filling up the tire. He walks over, and I'm like game face, like
Yep.
deny, like turn him down. But immediately he was like, "Hey man, any chance I can get like $2. I just need some water. My mouth dried in a desert bone.
Yeah, and I would love to go buy a man of water.
We
Yeah,
laughed
that's not my
so
problem.
hard. the way the guy said that, like, couldn't stop laughing. We were like, done. Like, what do
Done.
you
You
want?
burned your $2.
What do you want? Yeah.
He amused you.
Yeah.
I have to say, we used to skate in Baltimore, and we made some people dance in the middle of the street for money.
I'm a shameless.
That's
human.
almost.
But it's okay. I mean,
That's almost fucked up. But they're working for it. You know,
There was a
Like,
guy in D.C. who looked just like Bill Cosby, and I sat with him and worked with him for like 10 minutes. I was like, just say Jello pudding pops, and I got him to like do a good Cosby. And I was like, every time you drop a Jello pudding pops, I'll hand you money. And we hung out all night. I ended up buying drinks with this dude. I was like, come in the bar with me.
that's cool. Yeah,
I was
we had
like-
friends like that in college.
I was like,
yeah,
you're all
dudes that
right,
hung around,
Cosby
yeah.
looking dude. Now, that was when Cosby was America's dad.
Before
and
we
not the
knew-
most fucked up dude ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
prior to 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
because
4
this
years.
is back when Cosby was cool.
life
He's
before the
still
blue pill.
cool. We just don't. We like his
don't know that
act.
he's cool.
No. We just like his what he acted. I like him as an actor. I don't like every quarterback
As an artist.
as their.
It's like you like Michael
person.
Jackson's music, but maybe not so much
exactly.
as a person.
But Michael Jackson, I still am holding out hope.
Yeah.
And he died before it could be proven, so I'm like, psh, he's fine, even though he may not be. Because some of those, that Corey Haim kid's fucked up. That's a fact.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I haven't seen that documentary.
I kind of wish we
Yeah.
would all just forget about it. Like just like cut it off. You know, like he's gone.
Right.
We loved his music.
Oh.
Can we all just forget about it? You know.
Yeah,
and
but
like,
the
and I know
only
we
problem.
can't. I know we can't.
The people
you know?
that are still living, like the
Totally,
kids that are still
totally.
living, probably can't forget. About it.
totally.
But all
I know, and there's a
But, like,
problem.
there's
Our
a part of
generation
me
is
that
like too
wishes that
woke.
could be.
I'm
you
going
know?
down
Yeah.
an indefensible
Outwoking
road
each other.
here.
But
you know?
that is serious. That
Totally
pretty
totally
serious.
is.
But Cosby
Totally.
is guilty. So we
Oh,
could
yeah.
say fuck
Oh, yeah.
So is
Cosby.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
But we don't know that.
Yes,
we do.
Well,
Guilty
you know,
of tremendous music.
OJ,
Throw the book at him for that.
Player.
Yeah, but that's
they're both blackballed.
I still like.
OJ's innocent too, from what I heard.
He stole his own trophies. Is that what he's in?
Wait,
jail
is he back in jail?
for? He's been in jail because he stole his own trophies.
Oh, he's out now. He's got Twitter.
Wait,
He's out, and
Really?
he's got a Twitter account, and he's like threatening people, and it's like
What?
It's the
I
last
thought he got
motherfucker
out and then he did something else stupid and got himself put.
Did, but that one didn't stick too long,
Didn't
and he is
stick.
currently out,
Wow.
and he is now on Twitter.
Wait a
he's
minute.
a good follow.
Wait a minute.
It's
R.
weird podcasting
R. Kelly.
as I lay in this pile of money.
You're just dropping beats on me. I like it. We'll turn that up.
I like it.
Sean's gonna take over the soundboard.
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly.
dude,
I
that
think
is-
that dude's like
Same
Charlie
thing,
Sheen.
dude. I mean,
He's done
He's
forever.
like the most evil dude ever.
Yeah. Evil.
But I mean, some of them songs made me want to get sexy.
Dude.
Yeah,
And I,
Yeah.
but then I don't want to think about 15-year-olds.
But what's terrible about his music
Is
and,
his
and,
music.
and don't get me wrong,
Yes.
like I loved his music too, but like he sings about the shit that he did
Yes.
in his music.
No,
Yeah,
that's
you're
what's so crazy.
That's
like
so
his songs are
fucked
like,
up.
and then I saw this little girl, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's shocking that he's a fucking pedo.
Did y'all
no,
see
it's
the,
not.
No.
There's two
He said
girlfriends that
it.
still live
Yeah.
in his house, and
Yeah.
there was like,
Oh, it's
like
a
they
Charlie
said they
Sheen
pulled him out of
thing.
the Trump Plaza or whatever. But then they put out a video saying they're still there. They support him.
That's crazy.
I mean, obviously.
What is that, Munchausen?
All right, I know we're
syndrome
on
or
like a
something?
crazy tangent right now, but
Yeah.
all I've watched is handmaid's tale for the last
Dude,
30
I love
days.
that show.
I like
Oh,
feel
dude,
so
tonight,
bad
there's
for
a
all
big
women.
There's
Like
a new episode today. Wednesday.
I've watched
Wednesdays.
season 1 through 2 since Sunday.
Okay, dude, I'm caught the
I-
fuck up.
I've
and I'm
never actually
stoked for
watched it. I
tonight's
heard it's
episode.
amazing.
It's
It might be one of the best shows on.
So it's the
TV.
R. Kelly story? Is this? No.
it's
No,
like
Handmaid's Tale. So it's like it's based off of a book, I believe, and there was also
I
a
gotta
movie
pee
made
so bad.
about
I'll
it.
be right back.
Yeah, do it to it.
But so like Handmaid's Tale is basically about women cannot produce children as easily anymore, and so a lot of people or a lot of like women are like infertile and they're not they're not birthing babies, and so they take the
Yeah, this seems
fertile
like a
woman-
critical error. Yeah, this is a problem.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. The whole concept is insane, but it's scary because it's like you could potentially see it actually happening one day. And so it's
yeah.
based around like religion, and everybody goes like super hardcore like Christianity. but that's so skewed. And so they will like take the handmaids and they will basically be like slaves and have.
Oh, because they're fertile.
They're fertile. The handmaids are fertile, but the wives of like the rich people are not. And so they'll take like a rich couple and they'll get assigned a handmaid to basically like conceive a child and give them a baby, and then the handmaid's just like tossed aside. It's so messed up. And
sounds like a great deal for the dude.
Dude, it's crazy. Every single time I
It's
watch it,
horrible,
I'm
but
like, every
I'm
time
like-
I watch it, I'm like, I fucking hate this show. Like, it's so
why do you
hard to
watch-
watch.
it's that
100%.
bad.
Dude, well, okay, so now I'm on season 3, and holy shit, man, last couple episodes, it's been so satisfying seeing like the main character, like who is a handmaid, being able to kind of secretly make some moves, and I can't talk
so
too
like
much
the
about
Underground
it. But
Railroad of like the handsmaids.
Yeah, that's a
kinda
great way to
thing.
put it.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm
yeah.
picking up
You're
on
right
it.
on.
I'm picking
Yeah,
up
yeah.
on it. But I don't need to watch it. 'cause
Premieres
it sounds
on
like the
Hulu
first 2
Wednesdays.
seasons are horribly depressing. So
Yeah.
I think
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm good with where I am. I'm like, I'm gonna get this Harriet Tubman vision. I'm gonna be like, we did it. We're gonna, I like this. We're gonna get to the promised land. We're gonna move forward.
Yep.
Good. Okay.
Well, hopefully
This-
in tonight's episode, I'll let you know tomorrow. But
yeah, because if
hopefully
this
tonight's
takes a
episode, they
horrible
get there.
turn, then I gotta wait till season 4 before I
Yeah,
tune in. 'Cause
exactly.
All I want to see is the W.
Yep.
I just want to see them be like, we did it. I'll
Have
be
you
like,
watched it,
"Yay."
Sean? Haven't you seen some of Handmaid's
We
Tale?
haven't. I think we tried once and
It
haven't
sounds-
got into it.
It sounds rough. Like
Yeah,
it sounds like
it
it's
is.
rough. Like some
It's not making me want to watch it.
pretty
until-
oppressive shit is what I'm hearing.
That's like
Yeah.
someone saying like, "Try this food. It's not great, but the aftertaste is good." It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
I don't
this
know if
tastes
I-
great. You're gonna shit for days.
Oh, dude, these
Hey,
guys.
smell how bad this smells. No. All right.
So for a while, when we were producing in Colorado, we shared part of the warehouse with Nectar, and so they got in this box of treats from like Japan or China or something like that, and it was like weird
already
snacks and
intrigued,
chips and stuff
yes.
like that. Dude, so they had these like I guess they were fish chips, and so
Real fish.
yeah. So one of the guys that used to work with Nectar, he brought him over to me, and he let me try one, or I guess tricked me into trying one, and this is the first time in my life I actually threw up because something
From eating
tasted
something.
so bad. It was
Really?
unbelievable, and this is like a normal snack, I guess, that they like eat.
It's
over
like
there.
their Ruffles.
Yeah.
It's amazing the shit people eat.
Dude,
I've
it
tried
tasted
some of
like-
those weird fish things. There's like rotting fish almost.
Yeah.
It's kind of the vibe.
Yeah, so like Chris, Sean, and I, we surf a lot, and so sometimes, like especially when you surf around the pier, it'll smell kind of like fishy,
Yep.
And dude, those chips tasted like low tide mixed with chum around you in the water while you're surfing. It was that
Oh,
bad.
nostalgic but gross.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nostalgic. Yeah, sure.
He couldn't get over the
That's what I'll
gross
give it.
factor.
I just came back into the conversation. We're talking about eating fishy things.
Fish chips.
Yeah.
Fish tips.
We
Fish
got
chips.
Do you like fish sticks?
I think I like fish sticks more than the fish chips. Is
Yeah.
kind of the impression I'm getting.
He's more so.
And I'm not a big Handmaid's Tale guy. I didn't know this either. I'm learning a lot in the last since you went and pissed. I realized women are horribly oppressed in this alternate universe, and that fish from Japan in the form of a chip will make you vomit.
Yeah.
You're caught up.
I can't eat any fish, actually. I'm allergic.
You're allergic to
Unfortunately,
fish.
I can eat shellfish, but I can't eat fish. Swimmy fish.
swimmy fish.
Fish that go.
Swimmy fish.
Yeah, I mean that's
And
it's
we
like
get
the
it.
first trait.
Chris was acting it out. Swimming.
If it doesn't swim, it's not a fish.
Only the bottom feeders.
How do dolphins swim?
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
There's nothing better for the audio medium.
I
than-
don't eat
than
dolphins,
charades.
dude.
I know. They're too smart.
I don't even eat. I can't eat shark, but I won't do that anymore either.
Well, are
Bad
those mammals?
juju.
Are dolphins mammals?
Mm-hmm.
They give live birth. Yeah, so you could eat. So you can eat mammal. You can't eat fish. Would that be accurate? I'm just running numbers.
Shellfish. though,
I don't
has-
know. Once again, I've never tried a dolphin.
It's okay. I feel horrible about this.
Well,
but
if you go-
it's pretty good.
We'll have.
Sorry,
No, I'm not talking about dolphin fish though. Not mahi.
but it wasn't a.
Are
something
you
I-
talking about
the-
dolphin?
Yeah, well, it's just to get the gesture out of you.
Wait. Oh.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
guys are assholes. You're confusing me.
Yeah.
I tend to like my creatures from the sea highly intelligent. Big octopus and dolphin guy.
Yeah.
It's just what I can't stand is
It's
those
like one
bottom
step
feeding
closer to cannibal.
a step. But recognize there's 30 more steps I have not taken. But yes, I'm willing to inch in the direction. I still have Thriller on vinyl. I mean, I like some things I shouldn't.
Thriller is amazing.
It's one of the best. How do you guys like that beer? We never ever.
I know.
got
Are
Well,
we getting back to it?
well, I went. So, what do you guys think as you're finishing?
Keith, you want to go?
It's in the 4 to 5 range for me.
So that's a
So
huge
probably 4.3 or 4.4. Like, it's a good beer. Like, I would. This is
inching in the direction of a 5, very similar to having just a little dolphin.
exactly like this. To me, tastes like a good like.
A little dolphin, not a lot, because I'm not a fucking weirdo.
It's
But, like a little, cleanse the palate.
For me, it's like the perfect like after work beer. Like
I'll
I
give you that.
Get done with work. I'm not quite like ready to eat dinner, but I just need to like crack a beer.
It reminds me how much I need to eat.
That's-
Sorry, the dolphin talk and that moment.
Well, let's go for incredible burgers after this.
If they're made from dolphin, I'm in.
Let's do it. I saw the Taco Bell.
That's
I don't mean to get off the beer, but I just saw the Taco Bell delivers now.
Oh, really?
I think that's a game changer for the fast food industry.
I mean, I love Taco Boy. Now I know that.
Taco Bell.
Oh, Taco Bell delivers. That's what I
Yo
said.
quiero Taco Bell.
So Taco Bell delivers via Grubhub, right?
Oh,
I think
I don't
that's
know.
their-
I just saw a commercial.
And
So-
Uber Eats also.
Yeah. So they're
Not that I've
But
done
all
it
of them do.
those
that,
companies
right?
are starting to align with Taco Bell, knowing that this is the one that like we've all seen the cop waiting for us at the end of the driveway. Like, fuck it, it's worth it. It's a Bel Grande, and you get it, and then you pull out just hoping they don't choose you, and now you're like, haha, they don't have to choose me. I will sit at home and have another, and have the Taco Bell come to me. It's a beautiful thing.
So bad. What do you think? I used to love
So,
it.
I would definitely put it in
Oh,
the
sorry.
4 range. Taste-wise, it's awesome.
You say
but
in the poor range?
in the in the 4 range.
Oh, the poor. The
So,
poor range.
Poor to fair.
super tasty.
Portofare.
But again, I think this is the best time of the year to have it because right now, I mean, you go outside, you move stuff around, you're going to be sweating tits in 5 minutes. So it's an easy to drink summertime beer. In the wintertime, I'd like something like a porter, something a little bit more heavier.
I will give you that.
you
Hardy,
like a
know?
porter in the summertime? Or
In the winter- sorry, in the winter
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
This
I
is
like
a
summertime.
bad winter beer.
Yeah, exactly.
I will give you that. This
exactly.
is a 2 in January.
Dude, for
Yeah.
mid-July,
Yeah.
hanging out with the boys is a perfect beer. So I'll give it a 4 on
Never
taste.
gets winter in Charleston, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the perfect beer.
I do want to give it a 5 on crushability because this is like it's not too like what you were saying. It's like really good to have like while you're getting ready to eat dinner. It's not going to fill you up. It's only 5%, so it's not going to get you wasted, beforehand. Nor should one beer actually do that. If it does, I feel sorry for you. But
Well, if you have a full spectrum porter, it could fucking
Yeah,
ruin your
exactly.
night.
Full spectrum.
I would say on like filling wise,
Yeah.
it's about half spectrum.
Just so you know, that surf report for Folly is poor to fair.
Porter.
90
Oh, dude,
yeah.
Porter Fair.
Poor to fair 90% of the year.
Yeah.
But we ride them.
Oh, I just came with a new good beer name.
Poor to fair.
I like it. See?
Porter Fair.
Oh, that's surf report.
That's stupid. Never mind.
We can work with it.
All right. This is
I
what
think if-
brainstorming is
yeah,
all
like-
about.
That's exactly right. We're just trying. Now, I don't think you can actually review the beer because you're affiliated
I love
with
it.
them, right? Yeah, I mean, I
I
think
love it. Buy more.
fair.
What do you think, Brennan?
I actually, Kolsch's to me don't have flavor. Kolsch is like supposed to be
That's what
like
you're saying,
like a
Baseline, like
yeah, it's the middle of the road beer. The Kolsch is what you say when someone goes, "Well, don't you have Bud Light?" You go, "Well, we have a Kolsch."
Yeah.
Is usually how the bartender does that.
Is that?
That's the typical move. It's the typical. Anyone who says light anything, go, "Well, we have a Kolsch." This isn't like that. It has flavors, almost like it's got like a citrusy little bit to it. I think that's why everyone has commented on like mowing lawns or like being outside because it's refreshing as shit.
Mhm.
That's one of the better Kolsch's I think I've ever had.
Yeah.
Honestly, I love it. The artwork leaves a little something to be desired.
Right.
I would go. No, I'm just kidding. I love. No, I think it's perfect. I mean, like when you're in Burt's, where I was, like it stands out. So the artwork does its job. It caught my eye. I was like, is that really a Tyrannosaurus Rex serving? I was like, that's pretty dope. But I had no idea that beer would be that good. So I agree, it's a 4. I truly believe Deli or Ely would give it a Deli. I say we ring it up. Call that a Deli winner.
You have to bring one back to him
I actually
Yeah.
to
I-
get the
I
full
have to.
review.
Well,
But
cheers
it's
to Deli.
far better.
Cheers
to
to
Deli.
That is one of the finest beers around. So well done.
Glad
And
you
the
enjoyed it. I
label-
hope you
the
come to the
label's
brewery
cool.
and check it out. Yeah.
Well, and I enjoyed the other one that I had. So, as far as I'm concerned,
On a roll.
Revelry's the answer. If you're coming down to the Charleston area, this is where I would go. And now I'm dying to go in there and see the artwork, because if you've really painted murals on the walls, I can't wait to see it, because I can't, like I said, I can't pinpoint you as a style.
Yeah.
You do all kinds of things. Like this one's more fun. This one's extremely intricate and in depth. This one's nautical. I mean, everything in between. And then I was catching a Shel Silverstein vibe when I first saw your stuff, and that's not present in any of this. So you do a lot. You're very diverse. So I'm digging it. I'm digging
That's
it.
a good sound.
So I'm hoping that
Thanks, man.
when I go in there, I get to see all kinds of.
Yeah, I actually just released some prints too of a lot of the beer cans on 11x17 posters. So.
Do you have to go to the brewery to get those, or can?
Currently, yeah,
Okay.
we're working on the new website right now, but we'll have them up. But I don't have Coal Shop there yet, but there's a couple other
We
ones.
should
that
get
are
the
pretty
Coal
cool.
Shop there.
Lefty Lucy ones. Lefty Lucy's pretty sick. That's my favorite poster so far. It's like a West Coast IPA.
He answered the question from earlier. Did you hear that?
Oh,
It
my
just
happened.
favorite.
Lefty
Yeah.
Lucy.
It
I was
just
thinking
happened.
it earlier, and I was like, but the poster turns out cool. I mean, it was kind of like reminiscent of my trip we were talking about earlier, up like past Big Sur, and
It's got like
on the
really
West Coast.
really clean waves in the background. It's in like a what is it, like a wagon? I think he's driving.
yeah, he's in like an old V. I was a big VW guy until I bought a Ford van, but
Oh no! Hold on, this is like sacrilege here. The VW fan just doesn't hold up compared to the Ford. I'm
Dude,
dying.
his van is
well, I wanted an older VW van, and my now fiance says that it wasn't reliable, so I had to get a newer van. And
Well, and they make
Geeked out.
Miatas look fast.
I might be able to beat you.
This,
Dude,
Ford.
when Chris first got that van, he was like, "Yeah, I started looking into like not super,
I geek
like
out
air
on
intakes."
everything.
He was like looking at like an intake.
I'm
He's like,
still
"Yeah,
gonna
just
do
give
it."
it a little bit more balls." But
well, and it makes sense now because back in the day, he had like
Yeah.
the spoiler went up over the roof line.
Yeah.
All out there.
Clear tail lights. I dig it. I dig it. So he was trying to be
Kept
artistic.
it clean.
then. I'm certain.
I
it
didn't
was.
have the flame decals up the side.
Did you have neon lights?
I had Indiglo gauges.
What is that?
But you got to. No, the indigo cages are sweet.
Is
Yeah.
that?
Well, you want to be inside, like, oops, 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 oops. It just gives it that vibe.
Yeah.
when I was in
pretty
high
sweet.
school, I had an old I
I
had an old cord.
Yeah,
I'm totally guilty of having two 12-inch subs and neon lights on the inside of an old Sports Edition Accord back in the day.
Ice-
that was what
iso-
I had.
Isobaric or
way.
solidaric?
Yeah,
I had
Chris.
2 Honda Accords and an Integra. I was a Honda dork.
Sick.
Don't-
Dude, that's why I
this
got
is
another
like
one.
live though. This is,
Did
I
you-
wasn't supposed to tell anybody this for my
Dude,
reputation.
I'm damn
I
proud
wasn't
of
supposed
it.
to tell anybody about Fearless 45, but we're here. We're all here.
I
still would
really
love
want to see that.
Me too. I
Yeah.
want to see Sean like leading people in a workout so bad it's not even funny.
I'll show
It's
you guys.
fantastic. You will get shredded. There's no
Yeah,
two ways about
you
it.
have to actually do it though. You can't
You
just.
gotta do
We've
it
been
for
doing
45 days.
a surf conditioning class at so my lady works at a local, I don't know, not everybody's local.
Yogas.
Yoga studio / they make yoga mats and stuff. My homie runs it, and they started doing the surf conditioning class outside on the deck. Man, I felt 2 shades of death. Like I was.
And
really,
you surf.
Yeah.
so,
but
like, that's-
I am not. But yeah, but I surf here. I'm not surfing in
The workouts are
Hawaii
different.
or anywhere where there's waves all the time.
Oh, so they're doing like the Laird Hamilton workout, and you're over here thinking,
Dude,
I got a
oh,
longboard and a 4-foot wave.
Oh, my buddies are
Chilling.
in better shape than me, and it was hard, but it's good. I want to do more of the fitness stuff.
Nice.
I didn't know they were
So,
doing that.
I'd like to
That's
try it.
awesome.
Yeah, come next time.
I'm down.
Come die.
Come die with me.
Seriously,
Come die with
it's
me.
so
hate it.
fun.
I literally felt my breath skipping.
Try these
You
fish
too.
chips.
I know. I need to.
I want to see how it compares to the Fearless 49.
Yeah, like is
Oh,
it,
the
might.
Fearless 49 started killing people. They had to
49.
scale it back to the
Yeah.
45. Yeah, those 4 days.
This lady died, so we shut down.
Yeah.
you took that $3,000 you made and ran.
Yeah.
No shit.
No.
Spend it on insurance. We're closing down.
That wasn't us. It was
Did
Fearless
you have
49.
to have insurance to like release a video like that?
don't-
Like in case anybody would hurt themselves? Is that
It wasn't even big enough to.
It sounds
to-
stupid, but
I don't think we didn't have that. We weren't big enough to need insurance at that point. Nor do we know. I think it would have. Yeah, disclaimers on the
There's
website.
so many stupid things you don't think about.
No,
Right.
you never
Every
do.
little thing, and now everybody's like so quick to sue you.
Oh, they're
Right.
they're all over you. I just found out my burger doesn't have meat in it. You fucking sue them.
Yeah, it's a Big Mac too.
Goddamn.
Or not a Big Mac, a
burger.
Whopper.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
You know, the more entrepreneurs that I see that like start big companies, the more I realize that like part of the process is you're just figuring shit out, you know, and like you just go for it and you do it and you learn along the way, you know, whether it's fines or getting sued or whatever. You know, that kind of shit just ends up happening, you know, along the way. But you know, the best you can do is just like partner with the best people that you can, you know.
Right.
And learn. Like,
Yeah.
be willing to
Yeah.
learn from
You-
people's mistakes.
It's
You gotta
nice to
be-
have good friends.
The hardest thing in the world
Yeah.
is trusting that someone else's mistake is something you're capable of.
Totally.
Because more often than not, you're like, nah, until I step in shit, I don't know. It sucks.
Yeah.
And then you do it and you go, that was horrible. I should have listened to Todd because he smelled like shit. And then you don't do it. And if you could take advice, and I think that's what's so great about everyone here at this table. Everyone here is an entrepreneur and you're kind of doing their own thing, minus me. I'm just the guy drinking beer. But
And doing very well at it, by the way.
nailing it.
Nailing it.
mind you. But I think that's the more you all get to hang out and talk to each other, the more you can learn from each other's mistakes and make
Yeah,
sure that
totally.
you don't have those screw ups, you know.
I got to give hats off to Sean Holmes over here because so Sean and I, we really became friends like years ago when I was doing another company in the surfing industry with a friend of mine from high school. And so the concept, it was not going to work at all. Now looking at it, I'm like, what was it? What
It's
were
like
we
lead
thinking back then?
surfboards, like what are we missing?
No, it was
They blew up.
Similar, wasn't it?
It was kind of similar.
With
It was
air.
basically a platform for surf shops to upload their used board inventory and then make money on ad space. But you'd have to have at least like 100,000 views to your website a
Yep,
month,
yep.
and you're never gonna get that in the U.S. with used surfboards. Probably in the world.
But that's actually not a horrible concept.
It's not a bad concept, and I learned a lot from it. But so
Yeah.
I had a business partner, and like he screwed me over. And what really sucks is that he was a good friend of mine from high school, and so we went back, ways. And the worst part was he was definitely planning it, the whole time.
Oh, it's premeditated fucking.
Totally, dude. And
That's
he came.
not good.
He was a. I don't want to talk too badly about him on here, but he came from a lot of money. I didn't, and so he had all the cards, and he ultimately ended up like using me for a little
That
over
sucks.
a year. It really sucked. But
That
anyway,
sucks. I'm sorry to
after
hear
this
that.
separation, so I left the company after basically everything went down. I walked away, and I was like, dude, you're a bad person, and you just wasted a year of my life with this. Now I realize that year wasn't wasted, but I had talked to Sean about it, and Sean made me feel so much better about it. He went and we did an event, or I think he had reached out to Sean or something like that, and Sean had talked to him and was very professional with him, and he went and talked to me about the conversation, and Sean just kind of coached me through, like, dude, like, this is a learning experience. Like, you didn't, like, lose anything from this. So I'd say a little under a year later, I had started a new concept with something that I was kind of actually pushing the company to go towards.
Yeah.
But my business partner at the time was very set on this one. So Sean had encouraged me to basically follow that, and he had already been, growing Nectar for a couple of years at that time, and he'd been doing very well, and he was a lot bigger. And so Sean, in a way, was like a mentor to me at that time, and he gave me the confidence to like really focus on what I believed would work. And now, dude, I spend like 30 minutes a day on shred season, if that, and it's still growing. And so now it's
See,
set
that's
in stone,
beautiful,
so I
man.
can focus
I love
on something
that.
else.
Shouldn't
And
tell
Sean,
people that.
30 minutes a day. I don't even
I
do
work
it.
my ass
all
off all day on
on
it.
shred season.
30 minutes of every hour
but
spent
I-
on shreds.
I told him
gotta-
in 2 years you can spend less than 29 minutes on this per day.
But Sean's advice: let some other fucker sucker do it.
Yeah. Oh, God. It was not like that, to clarify. But either way, he helped me out a lot with it, and then also being able to work alongside him, sharing like a warehouse and for a period of time, and being able to just kind of learn from like his company and where he'd grown it to, and seeing like how he has different positions and how he delegates tasks to different people and prioritizes things. Also, goal setting. Goal setting is something that John and I are really working on now, and they've done very well at it, and it's taken a lot of stress off of our shoulders. But to go back to what you were saying with all these
Yeah.
entrepreneurs like together, when they work together, it does help everybody out. And like, so
It does.
Keith had helped out Sean a lot. And so, goddamn, Keith, you're like my grandfather, brother.
Yeah. Like, it's amazing.
Eskimo Bros.
Yeah,
kinda.
dude.
Whoa, no, that's not what that
Oh,
means.
shit.
No, back
Oh.
that
That's
up.
not what that means.
Keith,
You guys have a
Gross,
deeper
Keith.
relationship than I thought.
Yeah.
sweet Jesus.
You're about to be in it, so.
That's how that works.
Gotta keep it on the down low, down low.
Oh, shit. Not to take it to the
Yeah.
serious.
My woman just called. I gotta go. I had a doctor's appointment or something. I'm sick. Or
You're about to have a lot more doctor's appointments, Eskimo brother.
Dude, and also, speaking of his woman, congratulations to Chris, because recently, him and Julie, he's got an awesome fiance. They just got engaged very recently.
Congratulations, man. That's fantastic. That's awesome news. That's great. Everyone's celebrating. I'm just on vacation.
big boy.
Got nothing going on. But, Sean, I think that was actually really... I like what you were saying, because Sean actually has become... It's funny. I remember when Sean was like a young kid and I was drinking, and like Sean would be like, I want you to buy beer. I was like, I'm not buying you beer. And I was like me trying to help.
How many years older are you? Because you say you're like a big brother.
Yeah.
You're friends with his.
But it's a very interesting time in my life where Sean teaches me a lot of those kind of things. Like, those aren't mistakes. Those are opportunities. And that's really the
Exactly.
thing that he's always kind of tried to impress on me. And I've taken that to heart. And so I agree with you. I thank you for that. It's been awesome to see. And even tonight, as we were talking about this and the Fearless 45 and the kind of the loss of that company, you
It
used
grew
it.
into something.
Yeah, you used it. That was the shit that became the fertilizer for the nectar flower.
Yeah.
I love it.
Half spectrum.
Dang, that's a slogan if I never heard one.
That was the one.
I feel very
Say that
proud.
one more time.
right now.
That was
You'll have to listen to it. It happens at an hour 31.
Okay, good. Has it really
But
been
it
that
really-
long? Well, I guess it makes sense because there's like 30 empty beer cans on the table now. So
That's a
we have been
standard.
here for a while.
It's a standard Inside the Pallet House episode.
We've got a collection going on.
We do, and I'm about to get a freshie. We take a leak, get a freshie. So I'm about to shut this thing down. But I thank you all so much, Sean. Thank you so much for having us here tonight. This was a blast. I've been dying to get in here into the warehouse. So this is just a long time coming. So
Outside the
I
pallet
appreciate
house.
it.
Outside the
pallet.
box.
Outside
Hey,
the pallet.
he's done probably like 5 or 6 episodes here,
Sorry.
and then 4 years ago we did the Chico Feo incident, which was not saying this was intelligent, but that was an abomination. Of so
Oh, is that the one that
Chico always.
immediately
inappropriate,
talking about snapbacks
going down the letters
and
of the
anal.
alphabet,
Yeah,
starting with A?
it was,
Yeah, it was
which I
bad.
saved for hour 32, so I feel like we did pretty well on this one. No, so
Yeah.
thank you so much for
Yeah,
having
thanks
us,
for
man.
inviting us out, and I think
Yeah.
we had a solid crew.
We had a great crew, and Keith, thank you so much for coming out, man. I
Yeah, man.
definitely appreciate it, and thanks for setting him on a positive road. Yeah, it worked out well. And Liam, best of luck, man. It sounds like things
Thank
are going
you.
really well. I'm a little concerned about the legalities of everything that's coming, but I got a funny feeling you're actually ahead of that curve.
Dude, we're ready to go. We're ready to keep
Liam,
rolling with
can
the
you-
punches.
Can you throw a ITPH code on the site?
What'd you call me?
You heard
No,
me.
Yeah, so
Did you
currently,
say
if you go to
Insane Clown Posse?
if you go to nectarsunglasses.com and drop ITPH in the coupon code, you get 30% off.
It's
which is
aggressive,
pretty
but-
awesome.
Oh, really?
It's aggressive, but nothing that Liam can't outdo.
No. That code has generated thousands of dollars from his listeners.
ITPH. Inside the pallet
Well,
house.
can you ship full spectrum hemp oil?
We can
I'm going to
ship to all
start calling
50
it that.
states.
I'm going to start calling it that.
We can't ship in-house. Sean had told me a little bit about that beforehand, how beneficial it has been for Nectar, and so I would definitely love to continue that conversation. 'Cause it
What's
sounds
the
like
what is the website regardless where people can go to get?
ApisMercantile.com. That's APISMERCANTILE.com.
Nailed it.
Yeah, that adds up. That's exactly.
He did a
how it
radio
is.
commercial today, so he's really.
Oh, I know.
like,
This
his
is the
voice
second
Yeah,
time
really,
on
like,
mic, and
Yeah,
sounds
so,
really smooth.
I got warmed up this morning, big time.
Yeah.
I'm
Liam
glad.
Dean.
Yeah, so if you are in Charleston listening, tune into 105.5 The Bridge, and you'll be able to hear my crazy ass talking about why you should buy a soft top surfboard if you don't want to be a kook while you're starting to surf.
Yes,
Kookasaurus.
and by definition, kooks are nerds who have Miatas, I believe.
I
I believe that's what
Dagger.
Chris taught,
If you
taught
go
us
to
earlier.
the
I am not his favorite artist anymore.
Yeah. It's a love-hate.
Oh, no. Just like Michael Jackson, I can separate the artist from the scumbag in front of me. It's very easy to do. Your art's
Dude, this
fantastic.
has been awesome.
No, so Chris, thank you so much for coming out, man.
Thanks for having me. I had a
This
blast.
it's been great to actually meet you. Like I said, I'm actually kind of a fanboy, so was pretty excited to get the opportunity. And anyone who wants to see your stuff can go to Revelry Brewery right now, and they can check out some of the murals that you've done, and obviously pick up the cans if you're in Georgia, North Carolina, or South Carolina. Is that correct?
Yep.
Currently?
Yep. And then Instagram.
Yeah, check out his Instagram page. It's ckemp, SEA_Kemp, KEMP.
See,
I'm
Liam's
also
my
kind of a
plug guy.
fanboy,
I know,
but
that's great.
I'm his hype man, dude. I mean, I
Love
support
it.
the shit out of Chris, and
My Flavor Flav.
dude, I got you, bro.
Gotta have one. You gotta have a hype man.
We're not talking about asking my brother stuff still, right?
No, actually, I think this right here was perfectly hetero. That was fun.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah.
Capital H.
Yeah, beer.
Yeah, thanks, Brendan, for coming down and doing all this. We
Nah,
appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you all so much. For anyone out there who hasn't had a chance to give us a 5-star rating, please do so wherever it is you get your podcast, or follow us at Instagram at ITPH Podcast, or on Twitter at the same. If you got a topic you want us to talk about, you can always reach out to us at InsideThePalletHouse@gmail.com. We'd love to hear about you. I may forget to talk about it, but still love knowing you're out there. We'll be talking to y'all soon. Thanks so much for the time, and thank you all for everybody at the table tonight. This was a blast. Cheers.
Woo. Ski. That was fucking sick.
You are really good at
Yeah, dude.
keeping things going. If it was up to me, it would be like,
Dude, like, you know how to ask such like
I
specific
hope we didn't
questions.
sound like idiots.
Like,
I don't know. I just like hanging out drinking beers.
that was so sick. Dude. Hit that.
There you go, good guy. Thanks. Yeah.
Dude.
That was interesting.
Well, Jameson, yeah. Dude, this was the
Yeah, that was
perfect
pretty
tie,
cool.
dude. Seriously.
I got to know a lot more about you. Yeah. To be honest.
Yeah, I
through
learned a lot
this.
about both of you guys, man.